Good evening, November Foxtrot. How are you doing?
Hello.
Good evening.
Joined this week by James and Kevin from Defiant. Hi guys, welcome on. Wearing my Defiant t-shirt, especially.
Yeah, nice. Nice that you got one.
Yeah.
Wankers.
I paid for this. This was not a freebie.
It wasn't nothing. It wasn't a gift.
I've even got a NoFo t-shirt, Kevin. I haven't got it yet. I've paid for that.
Yeah. I've got both of mine now.
At least the Reaper boy sent me a mouse mat, so I can use that.
You won't let that go.
I'm actually going to incorporate this in some shoulder protection. That could work.
Why hasn't it been made into a makeshift plate carrier yet?
Exactly. Well.
Wow.
To be revealed. All to be revealed, isn't it?
So I got Hi, Harry, Rage, Kieran, Kenny, James C, James King.
Hang on, who's the Harry?
Harry Badger.
That'd be the Badger.
Okay.
Danny, there's Fresh Me, John, James C, and Matt McCarthy.
Matt McConaughey's in here.
So I was just making sure it wasn't Harry Lampard because.
Oh yes, I remember Harry from the last time you guys were on.
Yeah, well, he's fobbed me off tonight. I'm meant to be having a call with him, and he we've ended up pushing it until very late this evening.
Oh
yeah.
Shame on him then when he's missing out.
Well, yeah, we also miss he's not watching this. But if he turned up in the chat feed saying that he's joined, I was going to dock his pay or some shit. I don't know.
He gets paid. Someone gets paid.
Just now? What's this?
Tell me more.
So, obviously, we're going to be talking tonight about Red Tide 2. So, if anyone's got any questions for the Defiant guys, if you could whack them in the chat, just put a Q before your question. Just helps me find them when I come back to looking for them. In the meantime, has anyone got any Pew's news? Anything exciting happened that you're aware of, or bought, or purchased?
Bought more coffee. Pound Shops finally got my coffees back in stock, so I bought a box of 12. Bollocks. Beating old ladies out the way to get to the checkout with a big tray of coffees.
If you like your coffee, you want to get on a bit of what coffee? Yeah.
So my anxiety is now back to normal levels because I've got these.
Yeah.
What
coffee?
Coffee UK.
Bloody good stuff. Defiant 20 for 20% off, lads. Go for it.
There you go. Are they the coffee bags?
Yes. Yeah. They're all great. They're the ones that we gave out at Red Tide 1.
Oh, yes.
So
I haven't got any left because I ate them at the. I didn't eat them. I drank them at the event. So yes, very nice.
Yeah, but you can still buy them off What Coffee. Defiant 20 will give you 20% off. So, and I'm sure he'll appreciate that plug.
Nice.
There you go.
Nicely
I'm
done.
drinking it well. Drinking it well live.
I'll find their website and put it up on the screen. James C's got some new pouches for his webbing. Besides that, nothing.
Love that. Love a pouch, mate.
Cool.
Quite partial to a pouch, I am.
Kenny says Customs have finally released his Pew.
Oh, they take so long with everything, don't they?
So, the one thing I want to talk about is public service announcements. So, we obviously did one last week about not setting pyro off on yourself and burning yourself. And then there was another one about shooting yourself in the eye. I think somebody this week did something stupid as well. And I'm just kind of finding that it's almost like, oh, guys, just...
Can I make a suggestion to you guys? You need a Dipstick of the Week award. You find an airsoft stupid and you award them Dipstick of the Week. You can take submissions on, then maybe fill out an online form.
What do they get? A little NoFo oil dipstick? Just to...
Yeah?
Is my camera fucked up?
No, you're all right.
Yeah, I was just trying to find a word that wasn't too rude for your viewers. You know, I thought dipstick would do.
Yeah. Donkey cock of the week.
Yeah.
Well, should actually have to be interpreted differently. No, let's not do that.
Kenny's called it a purple NoFo heart. We're not calling it a purple NoFo
heart. No, we're not going down that road.
Either James or Kevin, we're getting a bit of feedback on your audio.
Give me 2 seconds.
So stop it. That's it. That's better. Just stay like that, James. You're fine now.
Is it James or me?
Can we subtitle, James?
Subtitle?
Not sure.
You just
it might be you, Kevin. I'm not sure.
It's all good now.
Well, we're not saying anything. That's why.
No,
Well,
I bought.
It
Yeah.
better not be me. Yeah.
Well, I just bought a whole new comm setup for silly
yes.
money because why not?
What did you go with, Spill?
Dual Peltors, so I can run dual comms. Another UV5R that can do 2 channels. So in theory, I'm thinking I can run 3 channels in one go.
Oh.
So
Headache
nice.
incoming.
That'd be nice and complicated. So
Working.
I love a bit of comms chatter. So I've been up to my nipples comms recently. I did order a Titan fist mic off 5.4 Communications. I don't know if you've looked into them. So they're wide for a Kenwood, so like a UV5R, etc.
yeah,
It's a standard kind of fist mic, but it's been upgraded a little bit. You've got your 3.5mm input, but you've also got input for a NoFo headset. So you can take your contacts, your Peltors, and plug straight into a fist mic, which I don't believe you can do with anything else. So you can go from loudspeaker and then stick your helmet on, drop your ear pro down, and plug in your comms headset, and it'll all work. At least it works with your real steel plugs. I don't know if it'll work with your Z Tactical and Earmore stuff, but you can always get them rewired.
that's what I run at the moment. So you can have a nice big loudspeaker. But I wanted the boom mic, and I wanted to be able to have the capability of having.
So this is kind of the best of both worlds, mate. So you can plug your headset into that loudspeaker.
Mm-hmm.
So if you unplug it, it is a loudspeaker, and when you plug it in, you've got your closed comms.
How often
nice.
do you guys find that you need a loudspeaker out of interest?
Sorry?
How often do you use the loudspeaker? Is that
all the time?
Not loud, like the fist mic.
Yeah, like a fit.
Speaker.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So
Okay.
go-
I was envisaging
Come on
like,
with your hands up.
literally like a PA system.
just
That's
2
James.
massive speakers.
Yeah.
Walking around with your Sonos.
Vote for
Friendly
James,
earballs.
your next friendly mayor.
Yeah, so I mean, I use the speaker mic an awful lot, especially when you're dossing around fob, but you need to keep ears on, just so you can listen out for any comms coming in. But then if you're going out town, sorry,
it's great for ambushes. If you've got a second radio, you just tape it up, turn it up, leave it somewhere, and then you just chat through it. And just wait for them to go there, and you just go, boom.
Some silly sod's leaning on his PTT. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I haven't got any new purchases this week. So not really much to talk about.
Truck's back in the garage, getting some welding done. Only a little bit for the winter. Getting her sealed up for the winter. Bless her.
I've had some unique stuff made from a Land Rover. But
Apparently your camera's blurring it. Like, it's that secret.
Is that
It's got a particular type of picture of James on there. As just the idea. This is mine.
I've got to do some wiring with it. But yeah, something a bit special for some electronic warfare.
Ooh, nice.
A taser. It's
like.
a taser gun. That's what it is.
It's a 360-degree taser field.
Just goes and parks it in like the middle of a wet puddle and just like, fuck you.
Yeah, you've not seen my wiring in that, Landy. That happens anyway.
I was doing it the other day. I actually got stuck on top of my truck the other day, wiring the light beams in on the top, the light bar in. I was using the back passenger door with it open to step down onto the little lock on the side to get off. I was working away, and this little gust of wind came past, and I was like, looked at it, I was like, no, and the door just slammed shut, and I was like, fuck, I've got to try and slide off of this gracefully now.
Did you go over the front and down the windscreen?
Well, I just sort of like hung onto the side of the basket and just sort of slid off like a slug and collapsed on the floor. In the end, I was sitting on the roof. My son and his mate were riding past on their push bikes. I was like, Louis, come and open the door. And he's like, hi, Dad. No, come back.
I am stuck. Yeah.
I am really stuck.
I'm not just waving for fun.
Yeah, this is stupid having a big basket on top of this truck. Who did this?
It's more stupid storing yourself in it.
Exactly, yeah. Literally, my car could be stolen with me on it now.
How about you, Kev? Any exciting things happened this week?
Just work. Work has been crazy. Work has been busy. Got a little plat attack order a couple of weeks ago. Since last time I spoke to you guys, that might make a little bit of an outing at Red Tide. I'll keep that one quiet. Just a few bits and pieces for plat attack. But yeah, apart from that, it's all's good, mate. All's good. Thank you.
Cool.
Nice.
So one thing I did want to briefly touch on, just because it seems to be like the biggest bit of news happening this week, is the AI 500 feedback. Obviously, Defiant, we won't ask you for comment because you have to be professional, and you know, I mean, ultimately, you're not going to badmouth your friends and peers. But Andy and Lance, you've obviously seen some of the feedback with me. It's some of the feedback's been interesting. I just like to point that out. I mean, that was the only thing I wanted to really say is.
It sounds like echoes of last year.
Yeah.
Perhaps with a hint of worseness.
Worseness.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone I've
I wasn't
spoken
there,
to.
but from what I've read, I haven't read a great deal of positive stuff. If I'm honest,
No.
you know, I may not be looking in the right places. But from what I've read so far, I can't say quote me on it, but it doesn't seem like too many lessons have been learnt from the previous one. So
from
No, I mean, that's
everyone
the
I've
thing,
spoken
wasn't-
to has said
Yeah.
it
None
was
of us
crap.
were there. But we have. I mean, I've been to 3 AI events now in the space of 5 years, 5 or 6 years maybe. And the feedback that I was reading was heavily echoed in my experiences from those 3 events over that time period. So, yeah, I mean, it looked like a cool site. I'm not going to lie. You know, it's something new and exciting. I mean, ignoring everything else about it, Defiant, would you ever consider running an event in like a shopping centre or something like that? Or sort of
Absolutely.
like a mixed up type thing?
Yeah, if the opportunity came up, we would. That would be dependent on risk assessments. Is that me giving feedback? I hope it's not. Maybe it's just where
I think it's that if you need headphones in really, makes I think it's getting feedback from your speaker or someone's speaker. If you've got any headphones to plug in, that'd be well handy.
I can go and find someone. But anyway, let me answer this off first, and I'll go dig out some headphones. Yeah, we would run at a facility such as that if the opportunity was available. However, whenever you're running in an urban location, there are so many more health and safety and risk assessment considerations that come into account. So we've heard about exposed electrics and broken glass and that sort of thing. So that would be something that would flag up to me straight away, and it would effectively be a deal breaker. Asbestos, again, it's not necessarily a deal breaker, but it all has to go into the waiver that attendees would have to sign, because ultimately, if we were to run at a place like that wasn't fit for purpose, that's me putting my head on the chopping block and basically asking for somebody to swing an axe. The answer is yes, we would, but it would have to fit certain criteria.
Right, yeah.
JMC Media. So obviously this is someone that's completely separate to all of us. But they said that they were at the event, and they said, rundown, good site, too many players booked on. Excuse was we thought half of you wouldn't turn up. Organisers initially didn't take responsibility of the event until they got personal DMs. It also said broken glass was BBs hitting them light bar that have gas in them, etc. Couldn't stop that issue, but the issue was raised. They swept it up, swept it away maybe like 10 hours after the complaints.
Oh, so they've got
least
the
it was
fluorescent
swept
tube
up.
lights in.
Yeah.
We're getting shots out. See.
So I would have taken all them out.
See, the thing with me is like holding an event in like a shopping centre. There's only so far you can go from the storyline perspective, can't you? You can get like it's an occupied building now, but obviously once it's done, it's done. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't seem much in my eyes. There'd be much scope for manoeuvre.
It's almost like
in there.
There was an events company that had a Boeing 747 at some airfield, which I always thought would be quite cool because it's like but it's like a single mission, isn't it? Like you play through.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
only thing I can think of is that you then swap over and then you're, defending the plane for somebody else to try and sweep through you. That's...
Or
So
like time
there's
trial sort of thing, like a
Yeah.
team-based event. You time trial it.
There is a
train.
guy that's got a couple of 747s. He mostly uses them for laser tag now. It's something that I'd like to do and if we did it, it would be a case of we would get some professionals in to talk us through, to literally do a brief on what the proposed situation is, do training, and then carry it out. And we would have a plane full of role players. That's the only way we do it. So it would be more like a 2 to 4 hour objective, and that would be it. And then we would rerun that with the next group of guys, and that's the only way to do it. You couldn't do it for a prolonged period. It would be it's a strike.
Like a day event sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it'd be like
you could do anything.
You
could do like
6, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would almost be like you could do like the pre-plan, like you pre-planning briefs and stuff like that. You can send the team off, say, right, we want you to come back in like an hour's time with your plan of attack, and then obviously sort of dissect it, then throw some ideas about it, then go and try and execute it. If it don't work, it don't work. You get a round robin, and you get to try it again or something from a different approach. That'd be quite cool.
James C, interesting, he's actually done one. He said, having done an event on a 747 Airsoft event, different to the one that Mike's referencing, but sounds exactly like what Red Tide is describing. That sounds cool.
Oh, right. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Well,
Yeah, going back. Sorry, Mike. Yeah, going back to what you were saying is like obviously one of the things that we take pride ourselves in is our feedback forms, and we've openly asked for feedback after events that our players, our customers can turn around and say that went well, that didn't go well. Obviously, you said you've done a number of events there, and you've come up with the same sort of feeling at the end of the event. So it's like what I'd say is one of the things that we feel as if we stand out from other event organisers is we send that feedback form out on Sunday evening. So as you get home, we're getting your feedback, and I'd say we've acted on it after every event. We've done things wrong, but our players know that we listen to that and we'll make changes so that the next time we come to that event, we change it. So obviously our mall, as everyone said, that full kind of like game event doesn't really work. That kind of like step scenario would work on those events, and even swapping it over for players as well. But yeah, it sounds as if maybe taking some feedback from players who attended the event, it would be beneficial for them moving forwards.
Yeah, I love that idea with the feedback forms. Like
it's good. It is good,
so
because it helps the organisers out knowing, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Things they can try and change for next time or put in place, and things to look out for that perhaps weren't noticed during an event. Because you can't see everything, unfortunately.
Yeah, it does very much drive our evolution.
Ray says right there, you seem to listen to the feedback as well, guys, which as a player is really good and keeps us coming back. So
yeah,
cheers, Ray.
Exactamundo.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank you.
well, in
Much
which
appreciated.
case, talking of coming back, obviously, Red Tide 2. Yeah, never doing that again. Red Tide 2 is obviously coming up. It's just around the corner in a week or so. Or next weekend, in fact.
Next weekend.
2 weeks.
Tell us all about it.
No,
What's
2 weeks time.
2 weeks time. Shit.
2 weeks time. I've got an event before then.
Don't panic,
Sorry,
for
my
goodness
bad.
sake.
Yeah.
I nearly died.
So first off, have you got tickets left before we start advertising any? Because I know you've had a couple people drop out.
Let me check. I don't think we have, because we had a few dropouts. I think they've all gone now, and realistically, I think we sit.
A few
at
people
point
change
now-
sides. Yeah.
I think we sit at a point now, being 2 weeks out, that even if we had more dropouts, we wouldn't put them back up for sale. Okay, because the amount of administration that's required to resell tickets becomes a pain in the bum. So yeah, we are all sold out at this time.
Fair play.
Right.
Congratulations,
There you
chaps.
go.
Nicely done.
Well done. Yeah,
That's what we like to hear. Sold out
it's
event.
a good sign.
It is a good sign. Absolutely good sign.
And
Good
for
sign.
October as well. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of faith and confidence in us. But bearing in mind, come October, the weather can be slightly against you.
Yes.
We're not.
Only a bit.
Unlike the Airsoft International bunch, we're not expecting half the amount of people not to turn up. Right? Let's throw that out. We are expecting everyone to turn up, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We
like
have
also how
catered
you
for
said-
all of you, not half of you.
I like how you also said that October, the weather might be slightly against you. The last event we did with you guys, it pissed and rained like all night long.
Yeah, it was. Well, no, it was all
That was
day,
middle of the
wasn't
summer.
it?
Yeah. That was probably the last time it rained before we had like something like 3 months of drought, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Nothing better than stag duty at all.
Yeah,
but
months
stag
of
duty
drought,
rain.
and then it just pissed off with rain when everyone decided to go and camp in the woods for the night.
It was set in a Colombian jungle, and it had that kind
At
of
altitude for rainforest. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely accurate. Can't get any more accurate.
immersion is important.
Exactly.
In water. Yeah, immersion.
Immersion.
So before we sort of go into the storyline and stuff, you obviously had some role play tickets as well. This was something a bit different.
We saw
that we've really seen before.
not all that many, not as many as I'd like to, and I think what we'll do with the role play aspect of the event is we will reassess that. Unfortunately, we got stuck in a position where we were forced to charge for role players. That hopefully, if we can negotiate that point better going forwards, and then open it up a bit better. We got a couple.
The idea behind the role players is obviously you get your 2 factions at an event or 3 factions, and everyone at some point is who's come to get the gun on and get some trigger time. So you ultimately know everyone's going to have a firefight with everyone else. The role players is just to introduce someone who won't be doing that. And it's just to make everyone, both sides, think about the people on their side that they are not going to pull a gun. So hopefully it'll slow things down a little bit and it'll just make people think a little bit more at an event, because
either that or you're going to get a whole lot of dead role players.
Yeah.
I only bought 4 outfit changes.
And they've all got holes in them,
That's it, yeah. Improv, lads, improv.
No, I mean it's a novel idea. I mean, it's something that you don't see sort of with a lot of other companies. Obviously, they have sometimes got different sort of role play modes in there, but it's not necessarily something you can book onto as a role player. So that's quite a novel thing.
Yeah, I think it's something that we can definitely hope to do better, hope to expand upon. But it's baby steps, it's early days for us with that role, if you will, for lack of a better sentence.
The way to think of it is when you see these sort of military exercises, they do a force-on-force assault with plane, but they'll bring in a group of like TA or another group, or even like wives and families to play that civilian role in somewhere like say Corporal Down.
The guys that do it regularly.
Yeah, and it's just to try and bring something like that into Airsoft, into our events, that just to give people like that half second or second to actually think that's actually a civilian and I can't take the shot. Just to try and build a little bit of immersion, just to make people think just that little bit different for the event moving forward. So yeah, we've got a number of people for this event. They're going to take different roles for the event. And they're innocent. So cartels and DA and whatever else cannot shoot these people because they are civilians.
Yeah.
I suppose you can always reach out to some sort of amateur dramatic societies, sort of thing, Amdram societies. Maybe any of them would be sort of interested in doing it or something. Or
the only problem with that would be iPro and that kind of protection. But
I'm sure and whether they want to get shot at.
Well, they should be playing civvies, isn't they? They might just catch us around, but.
Lance, I don't know if you've ever met airsofters. If you have.
Movement!
Contact!
No, it's contact, yeah.
Movement! That's just movement.
It's pretty standard, yeah.
That's a good idea. Rage says, I think having dedicated role players is a fantastic idea and is needed in events. It's a different element that will add to the theme of the event. I can't agree more. It's definitely... It's something we've discussed on the podcast before, which is adding that shoot, no shoot. Most events generally sort of build, and then there's like a big crescendo where everyone's just fighting each other. Whereas if you've still got those civilian kind of elements in there where there's that shoot or no shoot scenario, it massively changes the dynamic, because you're not just blapping everyone that you see coming out of a doorway.
It's something that we wanted to do when we were playing an event at Camp Sparta, and we wanted basically a reason for Task Force to think, well, why wouldn't I throw a grenade around this corner? Yeah. So that's where it was born from. Otherwise, you can go and throw fucking multi-bangs through each room and it doesn't make a difference. You just kill everything. But no, you mix some civilian population in there, and suddenly you need to start thinking about engaging.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it would be a really good dynamic to the game as well.
100%.
So, Red Tide 2, what's the storyline then? Talk us through it.
Kev?
What's the
Right,
message?
so after
What's
Red Tide 1 was in Colombia, there were two rival cartels. They were in conflict with each other. DA were sent in. There was an unknown drug lord called the Ospada, who was orchestrating things behind the scenes. He was like the kingpin, the linchpin, kingpin above all the cartels. He wasn't seen, he wasn't known. He motivated both sides. End result at the end of End X at Red Tide, after a absolutely frigging brutal firefight. There's probably so much pyro. We actually moved the Earth off of its axis, which caused the change in the summer. It was pretty mental on that part of the site on Sunday morning. A few bashers lost their lives as a result of our final firefight at the end of that event. But eventually, so the ultimate was that the cartels were beaten. They were eliminated. El Spada was killed, and he was taken out. So the cartels, after the victory against them in Colombia, have decided to move into Central America, and they've moved into Belize. Belize obviously is a kind of, Belize-Guatemala border has got some tensions there itself. The British Army use it for training. And there has been an increase in drug activity in Belize as well. So the cartels have currently moved, Intel says the cartels have moved into that area. They are very lightly armed at this moment in time. They are looking to set up...
DEA at the end of Red Tide 1.
Yeah, they spunked off all their pyro against the DEA at the end of it. Ricky made a lot of money, and he'll make a lot more money at this event as well. So obviously they've lost their influence in Colombia. They've moved in towards Central America, nearer to the American market, and they've moved into Belize. So their basic premise is they've got to pretty much start from scratch. So they're going to be really quite rudimentary type sort of starting points, and they've got to make product, they've got to sell products, not have that captured or intercepted, make product, sell product, to buy heavier weapons, to buy their equipment, to build up to the strengths that they had in Colombia, and basically, destabilize Belize and set up that base camp for them for further exporting narcotics to America and via the rest of the world. So they are on a little bit of a back foot. The DA have been called in as a request. They're going in very, very lightly armed, and that's a police role. And it's going to start off quite level pegging at the beginning. A lot of reconnaissance, a lot of police stuff on this. That's Defiant role play, I would say, at this point as well. But both factions will see things develop and should make things develop for themselves during the early hours of the event to create an event that people hopefully remember later on.
Nice.
I don't want to say too much because I'll give away the whole story.
I think one of the important things to focus on there is we learnt from Red Tide 1 that players weren't big on doing the drug production. Okay, so this time around we've given them reason. We're taking away cartel ammunition. They're only allowed one magazine from the start, and we're taking away their use of nods until they can earn them through creating drugs or, making drugs, selling it, and then meeting up with arms dealers. So we are putting restrictions on the event until
that's good. Yeah.
they have actually fulfilled their role as a cartel in the production of narcotics.
No, fair play.
Well, yeah,
that is it.
So rather than going and starting a fight, which they will lose because they've only got one magazine, it would serve them better to earn some money,
Yeah, I mean, I think
like
there was one moment at Red Tide 1 where we came out of a wood block and literally were presented with this armed technical maybe about like 10 guys, all in like red bandanas, heavily armed to the teeth. And we're all like, oh yeah, because we only had pistols at the time. We're like, hi.
Yeah.
All right, lads. What's occurring?
Yeah,
What's happening here?
We're just looking for owls or something.
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah.
That was ours.
We love it. We love it.
So I think the fact we've changed geographically for it. Ultimately we would love to do a cartel game in an urban environment, but they're obviously not available because of other restrictions by greater powers that be than us at the moment. So could there be a Red Tide 3? Potentially. We've now moved from South America into Central America. Maybe we might end up in a cartel war in Los Angeles or Miami or Florida or something in the future as well as a potential follow-on event. So just kind of moving it through America.
And then end up in Canada.
And then it'll be in Canada.
They wouldn't fight for drugs, Canada. They're just like, have some. Yeah, just take some. I'm too nice.
Yeah, but it'll be an amazing faction for the right. You guys are going to be the red Mounties, whatever like that. Like everyone's got full outfit.
Yes.
Like,
you guys can wear cadpat, and that's it. Yeah.
Cadpat and horses. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
No. See, I'm all for an element of realism within game writing, not full out fiction.
No, that's fair enough. So in terms of the game zone, obviously you're using Apocalypse over in sort of towards Sittingbourne on the North Downs of Kent. Have you been there before? Is that a new site for you? I mean, obviously you've been there to hire the site, presumably, but I mean, in terms
we've done plenty of site reconnaissance.
None recce's. I've played there before. I've done MilSims there before as well, way back in the day. So I know the site. John and everyone up there have been so welcome towards us. They have given us their insight. A lot of their players on their site have actually come to this event as well. So some people who have done our events before, but they've been so supportive of us and sharing our stuff on social media, Facebook, etc., onto their players. And we've definitely picked up return players and players from that site who haven't done Defiant events before. So, yeah, really, really exciting to play there.
It's a good site, man. It's a good site.
Yeah, it is a good site.
Yeah.
Have you found that there's sort of been any challenges with using the site for the storyline that you wanted to do, maybe, or advantages? That's the other part,
Typically, what we will do is we do full recce's of the site, understand the site and its limitations, and write an event to fit it, rather than come up with an event and they go, "Oh, there's a site. Let's try and wedge it in."
Yeah,
there.
try and shoehorn it in, sort of thing.
Yeah, we found that that doesn't work. You need to get a site and write a bespoke event for that site. Yeah, we can twist it one way or another. Obviously, this is counter narcotics. Yeah, that's easy enough to do make it Red Tide style inspired. But whatever it is, with the set pieces that we roll into, with the rules that we have, with the taskings and objectives that we put out, it is all purpose written for that specific site. Now, that does create an element of fear because we don't know that site amazingly well. I haven't been playing it for the last 20 years. So there's the possibility things can go wrong. But we have confidence in ourselves, our ability to identify the gaps and fill them.
Yeah.
Well, I've got confidence in Kevin to identify gaps.
Mr. Fix It, yeah, okay, Mr. Fix It.
Mr. Fix It.
Dan asks, are you NoFo guys attending?
I'm not.
Might be there.
Might be, might not be.
Maybe.
Wait and see, wouldn't you?
I mean, why did you bring up that question? You're not going to fucking answer it, Mike.
Yeah, because he's a bastard.
Because we present an air of mystery. So,
International man of
Do
mystery.
you reckon we fooled them?
Yeah.
A mysterious answer. Fucking hell.
No, it's already on the fucking Orbat.
Maybe.
I don't know. Are we allowed to?
Are we allowed to say we are
Yeah.
going or not? We know we're not going. Yes.
Are you allowed to attend? No, you're all banned.
Yes.
There's your answer.
Yeah.
Like
Yes, we're going.
Yeah.
Danny says the new players that have never been there before are going to hate the Killer Man's Hill.
That's it. Yeah.
On the site entrance, it's quite a steep
Heartbreak Hill
car park.
Yeah, I broke it to a bunch of guys the other day that we're not allowing them to drive to the top of that hill, and I'm serious about that. The car park is for parking your cars in, and that is it. And then you'll be walking your kit up, or we might be throwing it in a trailer and dragging it behind a Land Rover for you if we feel nice.
If you're
the
nice.
Land Rover doesn't break down.
So because obviously there's quite a large safe zone there. Is that going to be in play? It's like game zone area.
The safe zone will be in play. We will use all of the site that we are able to use without causing damage to people's car and equipment. But yes, the safe zone will be in play.
Cool.
So the
Just
top
watch
car
out firing.
park with the
There's no such thing as
any mortars towards the safe zone, because I think we fired a mortar before, and I'm pretty certain it landed on the A249.
That's just a bit dumb. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of wind that day.
Anyone that does
windy
that
day.
gets pick of the week. Definitely.
There's a strong wind behind us. Yeah, it's definitely a tailwind.
Oh dear. Yeah. So generally for Defiant events, there's no such thing as a safe space. We've copped enough shit for doing that in the past. So yeah, we won't have
lesson learned on feedback forums.
Fair play.
We're talking of feedback forms. Actually, have you kind of made any changes to how you run events from Red Tide 1 to Red Tide 2?
No. That's a great question. Undoubtedly, the answer is yes, but I don't think there's anything critical. Nothing by the way, rules. Other than not allowing filming and photography on site, so that's a fairly big one. And we've got our reasons behind that. If you want to discuss it, then discuss it with us. But what we're doing is we will only give permission to certain individuals to do filming or photography. That doesn't mean that you can't go take a selfie, but what we don't want is people filming other individuals because of what they do in their work life, be it school teachers, prison officers, whatever it might be, that don't want a social media presence, especially not one that's associated with guns. So we're doing it out of respect for those individuals.
Well, I mean, with an event like this as well, it's obviously not just guns. You've got drugs, money changing hands and things like that. There's a lot of pretend illicit activities, obviously. You have
might
to
be
deal
some
with
real
on that
ones
front.
as well.
I suppose the other change from Red Tide 1 to Red
For the immersion, James, for the immersion.
Yeah, for the immersion.
Yeah. I think that comes under no drugs and no alcohol rule for that one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Goodbye. Please don't drive your car home, sit in the lay-by and get picked up by someone. At that point.
Defiant said it was okay. No, we didn't.
Yes. And watch
it's for the immersion
video.
officer.
The other thing that changes, obviously, from Red Tide 1 at Homebush towards this event and site, the pyro rules are different, so it gives us different latitude in our pyrotechnic rules as well. So there's a change to our pyro rules, which is on a brief on our website, and we'll have to announce to our players on the day as well. So they've got it on the website and
that's
on the event rules.
That's not necessarily down to us. That's down to the restrictions of those.
Of the site, yeah. So it's a change we can make, yeah.
Yeah, Apocalypse is less restrictive than Dog Tag was. Although there are some instances where that nighttime pyro that we help bring to market will be useful, most of the site is going to be okay for noisy pyro through the night.
Oh.
Most of, not all of, most of.
Yeah.
There is
standing rule for pyro up there.
Yeah. There's dwellings and establishments near certain parts of it, and we've shared our nighttime pyro. And John and everyone was happy that we used that there. And obviously we all have our DS to monitor that And yeah, an accident may happen once, but if it happens more than once, it's like, good night, enjoy your evening and your car sort of thing after that, you know.
Yeah,
we will police that effectively at that point.
That's fair enough.
So-
I'll go against that.
Following Red Tide 1, a lot of the, I would say probably the only really kind of critical comments I heard about the event were people moaning about stag duty, which I think is fair, and I think we covered a few times when we discussed it in the debrief. Have you taken that into account with any sort of the briefing documents or anything like that?
Yeah, don't pretend to be a cool guy if you can't pretend to do the boring shit.
Yeah.
Comes with it. So quite honestly, Mike, get fucked.
yeah. I've only had 6 hours.
I was fine
sleep.
doing
I've
stag,
got
to
up every
clarify.
Right, and we've sold out.
Can't
so
believe I
don't
heard that
shit,
time come out of
Mark.
someone's
That's
mouth.
fine. No.
Well, who was it who said that, Mike? I've only had
Which
6
was
hours sleep. I can't believe I got
Oh,
to
that
go
was
up
one
and
of
do stag.
the. It was one of the guys in the MTV.
Oh,
I'm not gonna name
6
them
hours
specifically.
sleep. I get 6 hours sleep on a normal day at home.
Literally wandering around the
Weekend.
fob at like 3 in the
Bouncing
morning.
off
I've
the
only had
walls on
6
6
hours of
hours.
sleep.
I think I had 45 minutes after James threw off on the doorstep, you know, and that was a lie.
Yeah, I definitely managed 6 hours of sleep that weekend because
Yeah,
I went
20
I
minutes
went
after I was
down
stood on a
hard.
picnic bench in my pants, firing over the fob wall with a 249. So I'm not even going to get my trousers on for this one.
Crocs are the way. Just
That's it,
straight
mate.
slip out of bed, straight to Crocs, and get on
Yeah.
fighting.
Crocs.
Tourniquet, so yeah, here you go. Elastic band around your stock, tourniquet under that. So that's your med rule covered.
Are they
Yeah.
sorted? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I haven't lost
straight
my
into
voice.
Crocs
There's the
now.
comms.
If you've got time to grab your grab bag, go for it. But if not, just fight in your pants and in your Crocs. You're good to go.
Excuse
I
me.
just like that picture of Lance with the with his tactical boots on and his pants. Just right, right, let's go.
Yeah,
FMBs in my pants.
It would only have been like 100% cooler if you'd been in Crocs. That's on that
think
note,
you've got to bear
I've
in
got
mind-
a bunch of little Croc ornaments made up with the Defiant logo. If I
I
see
saw
people
that.
in Crocs, they will get given Croc ornaments as long as they photograph it, stick it on.
Have they got to be genuine Crocs, or can they be shit moody Crocs just to get an
Shit
ornament?
moody Crocs.
Frocks.
Crocs, yeah.
Crocs.
Or alligator shoes, perhaps.
Cracks. Gallagher.
Yeah, you know, I'm not a total ponce. I don't mind as long as it fits the old Croc.
The Croc hole.
Yeah,
As long as you can stick it in the Croc.
Yeah, I've got a limited number of Croc ornaments. I will literally be giving them away to people in Crocs because, as the voice
Why
of
not?
Defiant, Crocs are the coolest footwear out there. Fuck off with your back, right?
If
Get
there's
your
no
Crocs.
other reason to go to this event, it's purely for that one.
Yeah.
Just to get that Croc ornament.
This is when the whole of DEA or someone, like a whole section, just come over in Crocs.
No, this is where Brainsy is going to have 100 sets of Crocs for sale from the back of his truck. On the back, for those who haven't got any.
Friday night. Friday
I've got a
night.
limited number of Croc ornaments.
Supply and
when there's
demand,
one they've
Sunshine.
got.
Supply and demand.
All right, these
Why
are
did you
paid
get
for out
banned
of
from
my own
the-
pocket. Defiant aren't paying for these. My
Why
own
did you get banned
pocket.
from the event about drugs? I was selling shoes.
Yeah.
I was selling moody sandals.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, obviously, if people moan about stag, it's your own fault.
Yeah, honestly,
I don't think it's the moaning about stag. I think it's the moaning about sand too.
No,
think
there
that's
was
where-
there was
That's
there,
where
there
it
was
comes
a lot
into.
of
so
moaning about
again-
the amount of time people were on stag. Just being fair, and that was obviously a lot of people were saying they spent a lot of time on stag duty.
So stag happens, right? We were talking about absolutely sodding off stag during daylight hours and absenting the fob and just saying, all right, cartel, if you want to go through it, fucking go through it. We ain't going to be there. Don't give a shit. But actually,
We do give a shit.
that detracts from the realism.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that.
No.
We do need to keep the guard duty out, and we are going to keep command element in there, and we are going to defend it. Okay. The problem that I experience with stag is when you're not relieved on time because either a call sign hasn't returned,
Yeah.
or because they're asleep.
Of course, I
or
doesn't
whatever.
know what they're doing.
They haven't got a fucking clue. Right. So at that point, the first thing is send a run, find that call sign if they're in their pit, if they're within the FOB. Fine. Give them a solid kick in, right, and get them out on stag. The ruder the awakening, the better, because chances are they won't fuck it up again, right?
Yeah.
If you can't find them or can't get hold of them, or they're not, they are refusing, escalate to the command. Because I tell you what, some of the guys out there have seen it. I do a very rude awakening, and I'm well practiced at it. I will literally drag people out of their pit and put them on stag if I have to. But just be respectful to the team that comes before you. Yeah. Relieve them appropriately before your stag begins, so you can do a handover. Yeah. And then hope that the following team gives you the same amount of respect. And if it doesn't,
like 15, 20 minutes beforehand, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was that, Lance?
So
no, I was just saying,
again,
sort of 20 minutes beforehand, get yourself up, get yourself a brew, go and tap up whoever's at your stag position, and like you said, quick handover, and then you're sort of fresh faced, and you're not sort of zombieing up to a stag position. It's like, oh my god, simple thing.
If you've got your fob sort of based out, and you know that at the 12 o'clock position, that team are doing stag at 12 o'clock, that team at 3 o'clock are doing it at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. If you've got it planned, if you can plan out your sleep area, it's easier for the previous team to go 50 minutes before, knock them up. Even turn around and take the guy a brew or something, the TL, just introduce yourself to TL before, so you know who you're looking for, and do it that way. We're looking for this as well. So there'll be times where we want to get DA. I suppose the stag was one comment, but what we also want to do is we want to get DA out on the ground more in that sort of policing role at the quieter times as the cartel are establishing themselves in Belize. So they'll be able to go out and do that kind of soft knocks and police stuff as well. So one of the criticisms from what for soft knock that one.
Football match.
Don't. Never mind. We'll ignore that one.
What was that? No, I was never there, mate. Never there.
Never saw a thing.
Yeah, never.
So what we want to say, one of our criticisms was a lot of Op 4, because I started an Op 4 and I was always going to be with DA for that weekend, was they never saw DA. So we were trying to create the idea there's a limited need for DA to stag to a larger extent, so a minimal presence in any fixed locations, to have a maximum presence on the ground for interaction and for the game to take place and move forward. We've also got more DS at this event than we've had in previous events, so we can take on some of that presence and reinforcing that presence, making sure that takes place. So there is a presence at this position and that position, but the majority of our customers are out on the ground doing what they came to do. So that's something I'd say we have learned. But it's unfeasible to set up a special forces base, a DA base, whatever else, and not have some presence to protect that, because you're going to have your kit, you're going to have intelligence, you're going to have maps, whatever else. So hopefully everyone realises they need to have some security on that. And obviously this event, using a little bit of kind of like 13 hours type story, we've got a third faction on the ground, which are GRS, and they will be able to be kind of like hopefully 24 hours a day, 24/7, 999 rescue type idea in situations. So they adopt a QRF role for us, and they'll have their own side missions and taskings as well during the event too. So it'll give. So the last time we had 2 cartels, this time we've got 2 task force. So there's a slight difference in there as well, and it's going to give the cartels who are working together at this event a little bit more to think about these 2 other kind of opposing task force factions.
Right, nice.
Yeah, awesome.
So going with the 2 cartels being sort of like a combined force in for this one, then, chaps. I mean, are their taskings going to be very similar, like where they're going to have to work together, like collaborate with taskings, or are they going to be sort of, although they're together, they're sort of not. Do you know what I mean? So would they be sort of? Could you have like a section from one cartel and a section from another going on the same task, and as like a support group or anything like that? Is that sort of be sort of the way it's going to run, or?
I see cartels as being slightly. After Red Tide, they've agreed to work together after the atrocities that happened at the football match, shall we call it?
What atrocities? We didn't do anything.
I think it was harsh refereeing is what happened.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, bloody refs.
Yeah,
Can't
the
trust them.
sin bin involved like a 9mm or something. Yeah, 5.56. Yeah. So what we're looking at is the two cartels came together in a sort of uneasy alliance at that point. They were sort of forced together with what actually happened. We want them to think. We want them to be. We're working together. However, they're getting some of the share of the profits and some of the share of the money. We actually want all of that. You know, are they doing their fair share? Are they being equal? So we want the cartels to question each other, but work with each other as well, because they need to get enough narcotics to sell to get the money to buy their ammunition, to buy their load bearing equipment, to buy their nods, all the things they're going to actually have.
Mm-hmm.
So once they've got all that, what are they going to do with the rest of the narcotics, the rest of the money? Is it even Stevens they're going to keep together all the way through, or are they going to say, you know what, we want to be, you know, in Red Tide 1, El Hacha were kind of like the new boys, Del Golfo were the existing cartel. El Hacha were really good towards Red Tide 1. They came together. You know, does one cartel feel as if they have the edge over there? Do they want to gain a bit of superiority moving forwards? This is a new market they've set up, a new manufacturing. We're sharing it at the moment. Will they always want to share it? Just questions that they may want to think about during the event.
Ooh. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, sort of.
That's the one, yes.
The enemy of my enemy is my enemy's friend of my enemy.
Yeah.
Enemy of my enemy is still my enemy.
The friendly enemy of the friend of the enemy.
Why is no one friends with the DEA? They should just have.
Why couldn't you just all be pals? Just get DEA hooked on the product.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy. No guns, no shooty, bang, bang. Just
We can
everyone
just put it
chilling
on
back.
description for you. We can put it on description,
Yeah. Sofas, nachos.
Especially
Whiskey.
people rock up and they're like, but you know what? We're not going to shoot.
Just
It's
get
all
high
just-
and rip.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I bought Jenga.
I bought Jenga.
I have always thought, you mentioned the money aspect of like a DEA event, and I have always thought it'd be interesting if the DEA had to use that money. Sorry, not the DEA. The cartels had to use that money to help feed themselves in a certain way as well. So obviously it promotes that, rather than just making money for the sake of points or anything like that. But I mean, you've already touched on that with the night vision and things like that. But you know, it would be cool in my mind if there was like a simple rations.
I'll tell you what you just said then, though, Mike, would be going a step further with it and improving your welfare around you, like going from having a roll mat on the floor to a cot bed sort of thing, and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Improving your surroundings. The mansion house is getting slowly bigger.
There, guys, because when you're saying let's starve customers or let's remove things like roll mats,
not starve.
It's for the immersion,
We never said
James. It's for the immersion.
for the immersion.
That's all you've got to say.
I mean,
Your Honour at the end.
as anyone who enjoys their comforts, you take away my fucking food or my hot food, right, or my fucking camp bed, my roll mat, I'm gonna skull fuck you. Simple as it is. Right?
Just got to make more products and you'll get it all back.
Yeah. Think of the immersion.
Think of the immersion.
Rather than saying, and I do like the idea there, Mike, and it's something that potentially, maybe, Red Tide 3 could involve, but rather than taking away, it could be like, I'll tell you what, we'll make a fuckload of bacon sandwiches if you make this amount of money. So we'll do extras on top rather than take away from.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Good shout. Yeah.
We'll give you a
fine.
tent if you
Yeah.
Bring on the heartburn.
Here's a pillow.
Bring it on.
You can buy
Here's a warm ration pack or a cold ration pack.
yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, in my mind,
some
I was thinking
Rennies.
of like the a cash and carry level like bag equivalent of like sweets or something like that. But like, you can either buy some night vision or you can buy 2 of these massive sacks of sweets.
Harry boys.
Or a kilo of peeled tomatoes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you've earned a
Lovely.
night with me.
Whoa, hang on, this is
I'm
going
buying that ticket. Andy, I'm buying that ticket. I'm buying that ticket.
Yeah.
I'll be
Cuddle
pre-making.
time.
I'll be pre-making product and bringing it. with me.
Remaking.
As long as it's still selling
I'm
Few
outside
outside
in the
Andy's
car
tent.
park.
Yeah. Nice
You'll buy
picnic
some
tent
shoes.
out in the field.
Beautiful. Oh, that sounds good. I like it.
Sorry, my throat's just seized up 2 seconds.
Oh, Mike,
That
you're gonna be
was,
sick.
that was the threat of skull fucking.
Yeah.
You've actually,
It's got him all
successfully
excited.
made him-
It's like,
Successfully made him
"Ooh."
wretch.
Look, it's nearly dead.
He's gone. He's
He's
gone.
crying.
Yeah.
He's crying.
He's absolutely fucked now, isn't he?
I apologise. I'm on the latter end of a week of flu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talking of the next
You
event.
got a hot flush. That's all it was.
Oh god, I look horrendous now. It's the talk of all this food and sweets. It's just getting me emotional.
Oh, not me and my cuddle.
No,
Bastard.
JMC
Surrounded by
Media.
sweets. I'm like a rotating bed, surrounded by Haribos.
JMC Media says, "When's the next event after Red Tide? Could you leak an area of the UK where it might be?"
Well, let me grab up my calendar to make sure I get the dates right. Could be the 4th
Just gonna
and
grab
5th of
some
March.
water. 2 secs. Sorry.
Oh, he spoke up.
Yeah, so 4th and 5th of March will be the next Defiant event. Probably.
Or deep winter, sir.
That's spring. That's
Deep
spring.
winter.
No, it's bloody cold
then
in
we'll call
March.
it early
It's the
spring.
coldest part of the UK in March. We've had more snow in March than we have any other time. Oh, I like the sound of that. And is it going to be an
It'll
event
be in
which is
Serbia. Anyway, so it's all very, very appropriate.
so? Is this a shift from cartel action to something else that you can share? Or
Yeah, it won't be another Red Tide event. We'll have a little gap before we do Red Tide again. And Kevin and I have got some delusions of grandeur for when it comes to Red Tide 3. We want the right site and the right event, you know. But this will be, I'm going to probably butcher the name, but Op Machiavellian. And if you want to Google Machiavellian and the meaning of that, it's quite interesting and gives a little bit away. Kevin?
can't even spell it.
Oh,
Isn't it
just
something to
Google
do
it.
with-
I'm going to
isn't it something
completely
to do with
butcher that one if
Shakespeare?
I'm going to Google it.
Is it something to do with Shakespeare?
No.
Oh.
Not
Oh,
that.
we're, not going,
educated.
we're not going period dress, are we? We're being pretty cut.
What, in March? No.
Does
Yeah.
mother know you weareth her drapes?
So it's-
So,
Go on, Kevin.
so if you Google Machiavellian, the similar words are devious, cunning, crafty, artful, wily, sly, and scheming. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh.
Machiavellian. Ooh, sort of a spy. I think spies and espionage and things like that when I think of
Okay.
Machiavellian.
So this is going to end like we haven't done before. There will only be one type of ticket available, which will be a task force ticket. Now we are going to expand on the camouflage rules for that, but all of Op 4 will be played by role players and DS. Okay,
Oh. Ooh.
it will not.
Good evening, Mr. Bond.
Oh, smiley,
It's going
smiley.
to be massively limited in terms of numbers. I think we might well cap it at 30 players. Okay, so it's going to be a cracking event for a very low amount of people. Okay, and those people that want to attend, you're going to need. You know, it
You
is
have to
March.
complete an assault
You know,
course.
it's not urban. It ain't going to be warm and
The
dry.
penny fan.
You have to do the fan dance in under 20 minutes, you bastards.
End of February, early March in the county of Norfolk is
Oh.
It's gonna
Jesus.
It's going to be.
I'm sorry, is this the
mentally
SAS selection
challenging.
or what?
At least there are no
be.
fucking hills.
You do realise we're Southerners, didn't you?
Why?
This is just east. This is east, not north.
That's still north.
Oh.
North.
I don't know
north
about
of the
this.
Thames, right, yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's north for me.
It's north of the South Downs. It's north to me.
Yeah. I drove to Harrogate the other week. I thought I was in another country.
Almost fainted the blood level.
Yeah. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I have to acclimatise for a couple of days here.
We're not shitting ourselves here. It's going to be a challenge for the DS, for the players, but that's what we want to present. You know, not the softly approach with, oh, yes, Mr. DEA, pretend DEA agent. Yes, you can sleep in that hut there. Oh dear, you're a little bit wet. Well, let's sort you out. It's going to be hard. Yeah, it's going to be a case of pack your Bergen, waterproof your Bergen. Let's get on with this. You know.
Nice.
So if you're up for a challenge
Yes.
on top
yes,
of a
about
damn
time.
decent MilSim event, that's one for it. Now, we've offered, obviously, we've put forward tickets for your raffle. If the person that drew those or wins those tickets is not up for that style of event, that's fine. We can knock it on to the next one.
Fair on, yeah.
Thank you, gents.
Can you imagine if some 15-year-old won or something like that, and they're like,
Just
"Oh,
dragged
this
his
is
dad
amazing."
along because he's too young.
Yeah,
He's got to be
this
accompanied
is
by an
awesome.
adult. He's like, what did you sign me up for?
The
boy.
Bergen's bigger than him.
They
Dragging
come
it
back
along.
at the end of the weekend with like just clothes made of like animal fur and stuff like that, just shaking in the corner, just like, what have I done?
Dad's trying to
closes-
ferry him into the back of the car with a stick. Just get in the back.
Yeah,
As they're leaving,
Son's
he
gone
just looks out the
feral.
window with a single tear rolling down his eye.
So anyway,
squirrel in
yeah,
his
that's the first release to you guys. We haven't publicly spoken about it elsewhere.
Oh,
Exclusive.
So,
We haven't got any. We need a soundboard for exclusiveness.
Yeah, we need. Come on.
so
guys.
yeah, well, so the contract on that agreement was only signed
Boobies.
2 days ago?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice and fresh.
Ah, cool.
Nice. Yeah, I like the
The
sound
ink
of
is
that.
still wet. Yeah, awesome, chaps.
So obviously that's like a, for a lack of better description, a super MilSim.
Super
No,
sim.
as
it's
it
not.
sounds,
It's not.
no?
It's not. No, I wouldn't say that.
Well, if Harry Lampard attends, it's not super serious, is it?
Good
Because
point.
he's going to wear a pair of silkies on either side. Yeah, so that's fine. Yeah. So it's not super hard. There is going to be provisions made for task force. They will be starting off in a safe country, inverted commas safe, and they will be conducting raids. I said Serbia. So think of the 1990s Serbian war, Bosnia, Serbia, war criminals, but bring it into a modern 2022, 2023. What type of people might be going from Serbia involved in other conflicts, but maybe going back to Serbia to fund money, fund weapons to take to other conflicts in Europe at the moment. So that's the sort of scenario, and all the baddies will be played by Defiant DS and role players. But we'll put Defiant DS running task force. So task force will be doing genuine, proper close target recce's, as in like going up to structures and areas and listening out for times, putting devices in place to record things and hear things, using drones to intercept stuff over a foreign country or a foreign region, to build up an intel picture to find somebody who's maybe perhaps wanted by a wider global community at this event as well. So think 1990s hunting for Serbian war criminals put into a modern sort of like Slavic, Serbian, Ukrainian, Russian type storyline at the moment. So that's where we're going with it. Probably find out that Ukraine's taken the whole country back before the event, but hey, there's probably going to be some bad people in other parts of Europe after that event anyway.
Yeah.
Fair play. Question from Rage there, guys. Any scope to be one of the Op 4 role players, though?
Yeah, I was just going to follow that up. JMC asked a similar one, saying they've just made the transition from TF to Op4 now.
So, right, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Rage, and yeah, reach out to me, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know who your other fella is. Was it? Is it JMC Media? Or?
Media, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
JMC
I'm
Media.
not sure who you are, fella. But we will be broadening the camouflage spectrum for Task Force, so it won't just be multicam. The chances are you've got something that will fit you into that role,
especially if you're doing deep covery sort of recce stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for this event, we'd be looking for Task Force to have any sort of modern NATO type camouflage. So your multicam, JMTPs, your AOR1s, AOR2s, DPM, and say even M81, just the standard or even multicam tropic, any of those sort of modern camouflages.
Anything from the 80s to present will cover you.
Yeah, the op 4 are going to be like one piece of camouflage. Literally, if my only waterproof is my M81 waterproof, I'll be wearing that with a pair of jeans. So I will have minimal. Op 4 will have minimal camouflage and rigs and stuff as well. And that's why we're putting this DS, because they're the guys who will wear that heavy stuff with a little bit of military things. For that, and
right, Kevin, just giving away all of the scope for PID. Thanks, mate. Just let's cut it there.
James is going to go with the bald head and the beard, and I'm going to shave mine off and go over here for that weekend.
Beards versus non-beards. That's it.
This is it. James should shave his beard and give it to Kev to sort of maybe sort of like temporarily affix it to his head.
Yeah.
And then if Kevin shaves his ass, then I can have a little mohawk. That would be great.
You keep it the most beautiful.
I suppose you could do if you wanted.
You're so soft as well, James. I'll run my hands through it for you.
Yeah, it's regularly conditioned.
You killed Mike again.
With a clag nut, I will not be impressed.
Mike's gone again. He's gone again.
Yeah, you've killed
sorry,
him.
Just make sure you scissor out the clinkers before you put it in.
Mike, you need to stop biting his arm.
That's why we love you I love you guys coming on the show, because it just goes from serious conversation to Kev shaving his ass to give James a mohawk. That's how we roll. It's fine.
All in one sentence.
That's it. There we go. Yeah.
Ray says, I want to point out that none of you actually have a proper beard. So.
Oh, here we go again.
Oh, fuck off, Rage.
That's why I don't try, Rage. That's why I
Look, you dickhead. Right, before I shave my head off, I groove my...
Yeah, it's because I've been taking into... I'll tell you what it is. Because I've been taking Rage to...
But still a dickhead. I grew my beard like proper long, and then realised I couldn't get magazines out of a chest rig, so I shortened it to operator level.
Fair play, nice. Yeah, see, Rage has started getting since I've been taking him to Atomic Kim concerts regularly. He started getting a bit leery with it, so we might have to take a little breather from them for a little while. And a bit big for his boots.
Think back to it, yeah. He's back again.
Rage also asks, if the event goes well, would it definitely be something that you would do again?
Well, to be fair, you've started that question well, which is if. That's yet to be determined, isn't it? If it goes well, we will potentially revise it and look to do something similar in the future. I don't think it will be something that we do all that frequently, maybe 1 or 2 a year. But yeah, I mean, the standard Defiant event is what we know and love. We just thought we'd use this opportunity, being it March, where most of the kind of softer MilSimmers hang their gear up. I guess we would do something that required slightly fewer participants and
fair weather MilSimmers.
Yeah, I didn't want to be too, offensive, but yeah.
What we're looking for is an event. So we're
Southerners, basically.
Yeah,
we're looking for an event for the spring lambs to come out to do. When the sun's out, the spring lambs will be born. The first grass and growing, the first daffodils, and we go out and play Airsoft for a weekend.
That's where you'll find me and Mike prancing around In,
Having a
in the
barbecue.
grass with the lambs, cooking them and eating them.
Cooking them. Yeah.
And I'll just be standing in the background, just shaking my head.
What
is
are they
happening?
doing?
What have I?
Me and Mike just chasing butterflies.
Yeah, I'm trying to rein you in with.
dragging me into this.
Yeah, I'm trying to rein you in with sticks. Get back in the car.
Just
got a farm
moving
on
the
the
conversation
sheepdogs,
along. Tom James says the Defiant events.
Christ, we got up in the world.
Where do they? Oh. Tom James.
We're not worthy.
says the
We're not
Defiant
worthy.
events, where do they fit in terms of MilSims? So obviously, I think. I don't know what that was. The question
Well,
there.
my dog is eating from a metal bowl.
Somebody's casserole boiling over.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I mean her dinner's only been down for an hour, but she's just decided to scoff it. So.
So Tom James says the Defiant events. Where do they sit in terms of MilSims? So obviously you've got a whole classification of different style of event that falls under MilSim. There's some events that we would probably argue aren't MilSim style events at all. Where do you guys sit as someone that doesn't necessarily know Defiant?
Well, I think Defiant identified as combat missions. Wasn't that right, Kev? Did you sort of identify?
We've used that term.
I like that
term, but people think that you're going to have combat all the time, and that was something that people would level, and we're back to feedback forms, would level say, well, we didn't have firefights for 24 hours, so we thought actually we've got to drop that. The term MilSim, the term MilSim is open to so much interpretation. I'd say the bit that makes us different from others is we do have that role play event. I know other event organisers have done role playing. They've done it really well in the past, and they've moved towards more of like combat orientated type events. I think our role play is our strength. I think it's something people enjoy. We had previous events where people would spend weeks planning like discos and nightclubs for Camp Sparta, and would do stalls and things to do that sort of civilian interaction. So I think we've got more of that role play built into it. There is going to be, you're going to have to be self-sufficient for 24 hours, like all inverted commas MilSims would be. There's going to be times you're going to have to do military type things, stag, which is a horrible word as well. Even from a NoFo point of view as well, they're going to be in their base camp. If they fall asleep and don't put any security or inverted commas stag on, they're going to get rolled over by a task force or a SAS or SEAL or whatever team, whatever's coming out towards them during that event. So everyone's got that military simulation. So come to the Defiant event, spend 12 or 36 hours doing a military type scenario, living in a military style environment and structure and way, doing things as part of a team, contributing towards that team to make the team's goal sufficient and successful. By doing that, you enjoy your weekend. If you do your own thing, you won't enjoy a MilSim.
No, that's right, absolutely.
I would go as far to say I don't think we are best placed to answer that question. I think our players are best placed to answer that question.
Rage answers that question very well, actually, doesn't he, Mike?
He does. I'll bring it up for you. Rage says, at Tom, if you can get past the guy who runs Defiant having a shit beard, I would say Defiant are one of the best MilSim companies with the balance
I am
of
going
gun
to
time.
fucking shit in the bottom of your dog
You opened
bag.
up for that one, James. I'm sorry.
Told you, it says Atomic Kitten concerts. He's fucking blown his top.
He's
Yeah,
got
do
all hairy
apologise,
now,
James.
hasn't he?
I will have a word. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think we would agree with that. They're one of the best MilSim companies with the balance of role play and gun time.
absolutely.
I would say you are a MilSim. Not the ultimate MilSim, but that's you've got that plan for Norfolk. But I'd say your normal events are a MilSim. Like that's when I started playing MilSims. Your events is what I wanted
was looking
to do.
for.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, don't start booing.
That's right. Yeah.
Willing up.
T-shirt.
All right, lads, come on. Gather yourselves
You
together.
you can give me my
Oh.
T-shirt later.
Oh, that's how you get a T-shirt. is
Yeah,
it?
that's how you
Oh,
got-
Well, yeah, I love you all. Bill
Fresh Meat says, I'm up for more of a hard routine as well.
I bet you are.
All right, so fucking all right. I hate the term hard routine. Hate it. Hate it.
Oh.
Hard routine is no light, no cooking, no smells, no noise. That is hard routine. Anything beyond that is just or beneath that is just routine. You know,
It's just,
Yeah, just
it's not hard. It's just routine.
it's hard routine for an airsofter.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
you?
when you're
Airsoft
told you're
hard
not
routine.
allowed to cook food because you know light and smells. When you're
To
told
be
you're
fair,
not allowed to put light on. When you're told you're not allowed to talk to someone,
Hard
you have to whisper in their ear. That's hard.
I can see a T-shirt coming James's way now with that on it.
Yeah.
Hard
Oh, right, yeah.
routine.
I'll show you a hard routine. Bend over. Yeah.
JMC says, gonna get a slap made and slap it on his landy dashboard. Hard routine.
It's got to be if anyone's got a
Dead
brother
man.
machine, they can just print a label off to go at the base of his number plate.
Excellent.
Fair play.
Excellent.
Do not touch a man's Land Rover. Right?
No.
The quick way to having limbs removed.
Yeah.
William Mountford says, when do tickets go on sale for this?
We've stirred the
Ooh,
hornet's nest, I believe, gents.
yeah. Slightly yet to be decided. Might be end of the month. Might be. Might be just after Red Tide 2. I mean, we could even open up early bird tickets to the attendees of Red Tide 2. But I'm not sure that's a fair thing to do because there will be so limited number of places. But yeah, we will endeavour to do for the end of this month. But don't hold us to
Aiming
We've got
for,
to
yeah,
get a few things
aiming for
aligned.
payday is always a good time to aim for. Yeah, just aim for that time.
I
of the
reckon
month
if you've
when
got
people-
such a small amount of tickets available, I reckon you should hold a contest day and people win the chance to buy a ticket for a series of trials and challenges.
Which is an event you also have to pay for.
Yeah. Which is
Oh,
an event
never
you
mind.
also have to pay for. You have no
I was thinking more
shame,
like a
Mike.
talent show,
Honestly.
like an online talent show, and we will decide if you can.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we're
buzz
going
it.
to have NoFo doing the judging for the next Defiant event. Okay, we'll go for that. We'll do it for a collab. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am
I'm up for
very
that.
much open to bribery as well. Just
Yeah,
put that out there.
absolutely, yes.
Kenny Rebel says, where's the best place to get info on Defiant events? That's obviously your website.
Our website is the best place. Other than that, Instagram and Facebook. So yeah, give us a follow on Instagram and Facebook, and drop in on our website. We've got all of the information that you could ever want about our events there. Although Op Machiavellian is not yet posted because, well, this is the first we've spoken about it publicly.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can wait out on that one.
Exclusive. I need to work on that.
Boys, all the good stuff. Giving you all the good stuff.
We appreciate it. It's not
I'm just sorry we
It's
haven't got the
nice.
fanfare to back it up for my limited technical.
Drum roll.
What's that?
You have to take the t-shirt off and just start spinning it above your head.
Yeah, we're not allowed to do that because it's against YouTube terms and conditions.
Yeah. I had a
scenery.
I had a film pulled down off YouTube because I exposed my feet.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Who knew
there's
that
a
was
whole,
a thing?
genuinely, there's a whole funny backstory around that as well. But the people who have searched for some of our videos, some of the things you can see
Oh,
what they search on YouTube.
My God, yeah.
So there's an analysis tool that we can see how people have found us, and some of the things that people are finding us on.
Prior to
Oh,
finding
that's
us,
weird.
Lance's feet.
questionable. Oh, it gets
No,
worse.
there's some weird ones out there. We'll have to do it.
I haven't
There's some
searched
weird
like
motherfuckers in the world.
I'll tell you what,
German,
we'll read them out on the 100th
German camp
episode.
guard searchlight. Yeah, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Who
read some of them
invented
out.
the most powerful searchlights in the world?
Yeah.
Ray says, "Why did you schedule Red Tide 2 on my son's birthday? What did I do that I offended you?"
Rage, I said to you before, that's your poor planning, right? You didn't pull out soon enough. It's your fucking fault, not ours, right?
Bring your son.
To be honest, your son
Bring your
wouldn't have
child to
known
work
when his
day.
birthday was if
We
you
need,
had fucking
we need
told
more Civ Pop. That's it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about the immersion.
him. Yeah, Rage. I know we're kind of doing this over 18s only thing, but if you sign a waiver for us to shoot him, I'm good with that.
Be shot in the face. It's the immersion. Shut up.
Yeah.
You're ruining the immersion.
Yeah.
Just going back into some of the comments in the chat. If anyone's got any further questions, please throw them in. I'm just conscious of the time.
Also, sorry to drag it back, but he did just say, "What did I do to offend you, Mr. Shitbeard?"
Yeah.
Don't fucking rethink your life, Rage.
Customer
Adam
service at its
Latchford.
best.
That's it. Yeah.
Adam Latchford made a funny comment. He said, "Get local improv groups and pay them in exposure. Just don't say that the exposure."
No,
is
nobody
fun."
wants to be exposed to the team. I promise you that.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
The talking of the game where you obviously have to sort of effectively buy the ability to use night vision and the like. James C says, "Sounds like when you start a game and all your kit's shit and you have to work for new stuff," which sounds cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the rest of it's just Rage, basically blowing your trumpet in terms of saying how good you are. So I don't think there is anyone doing what the Defiant are doing, which is what makes them good. The fact that they listen to feedback and rectify their mistakes also stands them apart.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, my ego can only get so big. So
I don't know. I reckon there's room for expansion there, mate.
I'm seeing the screen behind James's head. It could grow.
Yeah, it's not. That's actually not a screen blur he's got on. It's actually the force of his ego wobbling the atmosphere around him.
Just gravity.
Watered out his ego.
Thanks very much, Rage. Albeit you're a fucking twat. What Rage is now trying to do is start beef with me because he wants to take my favour from Harry Lampard. That's what it is. He feels he's been elbowed out of the way a little bit, and he wants.
I don't think Rage would ever go to the effect of basically having a T-shirt with your face on it. Like, apart from anything, you wouldn't be able to see it.
That's nothing.
Beard, so.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's nothing. You should have seen Harry Lampard's underpants. That was far.
I'm looking for the specific 18 in tonight's call. You know.
That's it. Yeah. The following segment.
Although if Rage positioned your head correctly, you could have a full head of hair.
Ooh.
Ah.
What he needs is like you on like a giant bow tie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your face on a bow tie, then you'd have the huge beard. There you go. With hair, with Rages above it. Yeah. Oh man, this is madness.
I don't need a huge beard. I've got a huge ego.
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 JMC Media says my last altercation with James was him shouting at me, "Fuck off," dressed as the boy from Striped Pajamas. My mind was blown.
Now you know who it is.
This
you
was
can message you now.
This was back before it was frowned upon to dress as a Russian. And I was wearing one of those Russian paratrooper striped vests, and basically he walked into my training area, so I politely asked him to leave.
It wasn't polite.
In the only way that you know. In James's own unique, special, polite way.
That was the point when we actually said what Defiant role play means, and it was forceful. We just in the background look at it and just burst out laughing at the same time because the guy from Task Force was like, "Oh my god, what have I done?" We just burst out laughing. It was hilarious.
I did have to whisper a quick. I had to whisper a quick.
I'm only joking.
I'm role playing, with him because he thought that I was actually having a crack at him.
Yeah. James was like, "No, it's immersion."
Immersion.
So we'll end up with Rage just says, "I have Y fronts with his face on." He's also started an OnlyFans with James on.
I'm not sure about the OnlyFans, but the Y fronts with my face on. Basically, mate, pics or it didn't happen.
Well, they'll be available for purchase.
Challenge accepted.
Now that's something.
Oh,
that
what
will
a
be-
big nose you have, James. You know that.
The thing is, Rage's wife runs with James's face on the front. On the back, it says, "Finish him."
Oh, right. We'll probably have to call it a day because I'm conscious of the time. Thanks ever so much, guys, for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Yep, definitely.
Best of luck, obviously, with Riptide 2. Not that you'll need it.
Yeah.
It'll be an awesome event. I'm sorry that I can't be there as a full active player. I'm just going to leave it as
Or
that.
will you?
Or will I? We've obviously got the two competitions a bit spaced on at the moment. So there's the main competition, which is trying to raise money for the RBLI. So it's not really a competition per se, but it's a fundraiser. We are getting ever so much closer to our £500 target. We've had a few donations rolling in over the last week, which is massively appreciated.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Well, thank you
Well
everyone
done,
who's
guys.
donated
Yeah,
so
thank
far.
you.
Let's keep them coming.
I will just look up where we're at with our target. I should have done that before the show, but you know, hey.
There's a few weeks left. I
Organisation.
reckon we can do it. We can clear the £500 mark.
We're at £440 that we've raised so far, which is 88% of our target. So thanks everyone, just so much. You know, we're only £60 off the 500 target, but you know, let's not stop there. If we can get, we've got another 3 weeks until we have the competition, the raffle. So if we can get more than that, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The more money that we can raise for the RBLI, the better.
Yes,
absolutely,
We've obviously
yeah,
got a whole heap of prizes, one of which has been thankfully donated by Defiant, which is 2 tickets to their next event. So thank you ever so much for that. That's a very generous contribution. But there are some other prizes as well, obviously. So you can check them out on our website, novemberfoxtrot.com/comp100, which is the full details of how you can get involved with that. We've also got the Build Your Own Plate Carrier competition, which we've had 1 entry. I haven't seen any others yet, but we'll be judging that as well. There's a prize, which is the Konos scope, digital scope.
My body armor.
Patch.
There's a winner. Hello, Pooh.
Konos.
And
That's a
what
wicked
else
scope.
we get? And some iPro as well. So
And,
Yes.
and a patch, I think, as well, isn't it?
And a
patch,
patch.
iPro, and the scope.
Yep.
So get your entries in for that. The more weird and wonderful, the better.
Yes.
It's all
I
very
still really
tongue-in-cheek.
want to
All
see-
very much fun.
I really want to see an Amazon Prime body armor.
I'm still working on my plate carrier. Will hold the contents to create a spaghetti bolognese for 4. That's the,
Before,
yes, for 4.
That's your prize.
please make that include a candelabra. I mean,
Candelabra.
Yeah, I'll have you on there. Yeah, well, that's going to be in a scabbard on the back.
Just every time you
Yeah.
run, you pull it. Go,
Giant as well.
Candelabra!
Yeah, that is going to be my new war cry now.
Next week we're going to be talking about kit maintenance after an event. So bits and pieces that you can do to basically stop your kit from falling apart the next time you bring it out.
And being mouldy as buggery.
Yeah, so why are we
Big
doing
old
this
buggery.
one? We've all... I think
Because
last time
Lance
you
is gonna
brought
tell
out a
us
hat,
how
it grown fur.
There was only once that had happened. Lance is going to teach us how to look after our stuff properly. So we'll be doing that next week at 8
Yeah,
o'clock.
I'm going to teach you how to not be a dirty bastard like mine.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
In the meantime, thanks again ever so much, guys, for coming on. Genuinely,
thanks very
it's always
much,
a
guys.
pleasure.
Yeah.
And
No,
I
Mike,
really needed a
guys,
reason to wear my t-shirt.
well, thanks for having us. Keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, how many weeks away are you now from your 100th episode?
Oh, it's only
Three.
like three.
or
This is episode
3
97.
weeks.
97.
Look at that.
Ooh,
3
3
episodes
weeks
away.
away. So
Alright.
just after our event.
It is.
So there'll be some debriefy talking on there as well and stuff. But
Yeah.
obviously, the main thing is the fundraiser, guys. So just, if you can get some, if you've not got your tickets yet, get your tickets. It's £5 for one to a ceiling of £20, is it, Mike? For 5,
It is,
you'll
yeah.
get 5.
Which
Yeah,
gets you
yeah.
up to 5.
Yeah, so you can donate more than £20, but you'll only get 5 tickets. So it's not a like pay to win sort of thing. It's it's £20. You get 5 tickets for their £20, or buy 1 ticket, or as many as you like.
Yeah.
Put as much money in as you want, but you'll only get 5 tickets.
And I'd like to point out as well, I did a quick tot up of the prizes. Our prizes currently are about 3 to 4 times the amount that we've currently raised. So
It's a lot of money.
the prizes are quite good, and
There's vortex scopes. There's
the chance of winning
iPros.
something is quite high as well. So
Yeah.
it's good. It's worth
Can we do that?
sharing.
Will YouTube shut us down for that?
I don't know. I
try
just did it.
They'll only shut us down for these guns. Right, on that note. Sorry, Les just asked when we get the raffle tickets. So on the show, basically, I'll just run through in terms of the numbers. We won't be physically allocating raffle tickets, but we'll have a spreadsheet sort of set up with that, and we'll be pulling numbers out of a bucket or a hat. I think we were picking a hat, weren't we? We were going to pick one of my
We were
helmets.
going
we were doing the digit.
we were going to show each chooser whose helmet we're going to use.
Yeah.
If you've just joined the show now, we are talking about
Away.
helmets to go on your head.
Yes.
And on that incredibly awkward note, we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Stay NoFo, people.
Stay NoFo. Ciao,
Stay
Bella.
no-
Oh, Mike, do it. Do it.
What? Stay
You gotta say it,
NoFo
Mike. Yeah.
or ciao?
No, just do it properly, Mike. Come on. Do your outro properly.
Stay NoFo.